So this new AI update from Google is absolutely insane. And what we're talking today is about the new update that literally just came out like a couple of days ago. Vic, we were talking about this before, right? The new AI mode that came straight out from Google.
Yeah, we have been. And good morning, Julian. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. But we have been, and I really look forward to maybe hearing a little bit more about what you think about it. I'm going to share my thoughts as well, but absolutely exciting times ahead of us.
100%. I mean, so basically, if you're not aware of what this is, basically just a few days ago, Google are rolling out this new AI mode, and we've actually got access to it over here. So you can see you can ask anything with AI mode, and this is inside labs.google.com. It is only available in certain countries, but essentially you can see how it works directly here. So instead of like searching normally how you normally would, this is like a completely sort of embedded AI mode. It's almost like using Gemini directly, but it's going to be available for like the general population. So have you had a chance to test this out at all, Vic? I know obviously you've used Gemini and stuff like that.
I've used Gemini, but I've not actually had the privilege to test this out. So I'm just as excited as everyone is going to watch this, because it's going to be a learning lesson for me as well.
Well, that's it. That's it. And basically, the whole point of this is like it's using not just like your typical AI. So obviously, if you go into Google and you ask a question like, "Can cats eat bananas?" Right? Like you will get an answer here from their AI overviews. And to be fair, like this is getting better and better. The actual search labs. Like I don't know if you remember when this first came out, but like there was so many hiccups directly from Google, and it was a bit of a mess. For example, it was telling people to eat glue on their pizza was one of the things that it recommended, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone.
Absolutely. And I remember it actually had a little bit of a problem with sourcing super incorrect data because what it would do is it would go to the top, let's say, for example, Reddit comment or Reddit post, and that is the information it will display instead of actual relevant information for people that are searching certain intents. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Now, we're getting a few questions through. So, one of the questions that we had so far is from Prince Yadav, who said, "Is this feature available in India?" So, the basic sort of Search Labs feature is available in India and I think across the whole world at this point. The AI mode, I think, is just being rolled out like internationally, and I think they're starting with the US. Now, if you want to get some data on this, I actually prepared this presentation for you on the latest updates and the most critical updates, particularly focusing on SEO, which is search engine optimization, basically the way people search. Now, what you can see here is if we scroll down to the Google AI mode expansion, basically what this is doing is Google has removed the waitlist for its AI mode to search, making it available to all US users above 18 who are enrolled in Google Labs. So you do have to enroll this, but basically this is a new like powered version of Gemini, and you can see that it's created a big CTR drop. What a CTR drop means is less traffic for most people. So for example, if you've got a website and you're reliant on Google for search traffic, some terms are going to get hit in terms of reducing their click-through rate. Now, the other big switch that I've seen as well is like more and more websites are actually getting traffic from ChatGPT. Have you seen that, for example, Vic, like some of your clients and that sort
Yeah,
of thing?
absolutely. It's not just ChatGPT, but in general, like people are searching a lot more frequently now on AI, Julian. And I think that clients are now seeing more direct traffic, as in they're clicking from sources within these AI models, and that's how they're landing on the pages. But the CTR is definitely something that we can take a look at further as well, in the sense of what does this mean for future of Google search? If people are seeing a little bit of a drop, I think that if you're within at least on the first page, but within the first three slots, you're still going to be better off, trying to make sure that you reach those spots with SEO. But other than that, it definitely is a lot to take a look at.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot, and it's worth taking a look at that because this is the way that search is going. If you have a business, if you have a website, you got to understand this stuff. And you got to understand how to rank inside AI. I mean, for example, like I don't know, if you go into like Perplexity and you're doing like some searches, like for example, I don't know, something like Suno AI 4.5, right? The new music maker. I was making music about all sorts of crazy stuff this morning. Basically, you can see here how it's ranking content, right? So it's ranking,
Yeah.
particularly with videos. It seems to favor videos quite a lot inside here. which is pretty interesting as well. And then if we go inside, you can see how it's ranking content. Now, quite often, Reddit performs really well, YouTube performs really well, and then it's got the main website, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so if we go back to Google AI mode now, let's give some tests. So, for example, how do migrating birds know where to go? Let's plug that in. So you can see here it's using kind of like a reasoning model to figure out what's the best results. And then can you see how like similar it is to Perplexity? It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the advantages that Google is always going to have is the fact that they have the database, and it baffles me that they haven't done this sooner. But I really look forward to seeing where this goes and what it does. You know, they have absolutely all the knowledge. So, yeah,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, that's it. The other thing that you're going to notice here is like most of the sites that get the most traffic, right? So like if you imagine, okay, whose website am I going to click on here? Like who's going to get the majority of the traffic? Because the click-through rate may drop for some websites, but these are the guys who are ranking like 10th or 8th on the first page of Google. If you actually check inside Google AI mode, and we're having a look through here, and we plug in, for example, like one of these websites, right? So if we click on this, and then we'll plug them into something like Ahrefs to see, okay, why are they ranking? Like, why are they getting the traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go into Ahrefs here, and we'll sign in, what you're typically going to find is like the websites with the most backlinks and the most authority are going to get the most traffic. So in this particular example, it's like, right, okay, CBC are ranking DR90, YouTube is ranking DR90, and the All About Birds website, I've come across them before because I used to be in the birds niche, and if we plug them into Ahrefs as well, DR82 website, right? And so like if you really want to be ranking at the top, it's like it's so clearly correlated to backlinks. It's absolutely crazy. For example, if we pull up, okay, the average organic traffic versus the number of referring domains, you can see here it just correlates like almost perfectly in terms of traffic versus rankings.
Yeah, I think that that actually adds a point, Julian, to, you know, a lot of people ask, oh, with this AI overtaking us, AI overview, AI searches, whatever, is there even a point in me continuing to put efforts into my SEO? I think this literally proves that there is a massive point, because regardless of what platform you're getting searched on, search engine optimization or AI search engine optimization or whatever you want to call it, it's definitely here to stay. And it's even more important than ever because people are not scrolling down, man. You got to be on those top spots. Otherwise, you're losing out.
Yeah, 100%. It's like if you're not building backlinks, you might as well not be trying to rank at all because I can almost guarantee if you actually click on like show all and you see like the top 11 sites, almost all of them will have backlinks, you know. That's what we're seeing here. It's just like, and the only way that Google or any sort of AI search engine is going to trust you is with backlinks. Like, it's the biggest differentiator between everyone now.
Yeah, and without sounding like a broken record, it really ties into what we spoke about on the last SEO stream last Tuesday, right? EEAT. Everything to do with how they're going to recognize you and why they're going to rank you there is going to be because of the authority, because of the trustworthiness, because of the experience and expertise, you know? So the more effort and time you put into that page, on page SEO and specifically off page SEO, the more chances you're going to have of ranking.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, if you're like an e-commerce website as well, this is an even bigger thing because they're introducing shopping. ChatGPT just introduced shopping as well. Don't know if you've seen this, but let's find this update here. So they just recently introduced shopping results from ChatGPT. So one of the most popular features of ChatGPT right now is their shopping results, and this was literally just updated this week as well. So it's a brand new update from ChatGPT. And basically, what they're doing is they're picking products based on the user intent of the searcher, right? And so if you want to be listed on here, they actually talk about like how they get the information, but basically it's based on like merchant and product metadata. AKA they're basically using Google and they're probably using the results from like the web in terms of like backlinks and who's the most authoritative to figure that out.
Yeah.
So
I
it's massive.
think there was a question in the chat asking, what is the website which has an open G, a red G? I think they're talking about the search labs, right, that you were showcasing a minute ago?
This one right here, do you reckon? Or this one?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh yeah. It's labs. So you just go to labs.google.com, and you can find
yeah, I'll send the
the
link in
details
chat
here.
for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing. I mean, if I had two sort of main benefits for you, like if I was like, right, okay, you want to rank your website, or you want to get traffic, or you want to sell more products from Google and other search engines in 2025, number one thing here is building more backlinks, building authority. Number two is using YouTube. Like if you're not using YouTube to market your business, you're absolutely crazy in 2025, because it's such a powerful opportunity, just like we're doing right now for our SEO agency. And then the final thing I would say here is like, you're never going to rank if you don't have content about what people are searching for. So you still need to create a lot of content and target the right keywords. Like for example, if you look at CBC, All About Birds, wwt.org.uk, they're all creating content around this keyword. So the same process of keywords, content, and backlinks, that's never going to change. It's just all the things that people were getting away with previously, no backlinks, bad content, etc. It's not going to work for you anymore. Like you have to level it up.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And just a couple of more comments coming in. Specifically, it's not about AI. The today's stream is more about SEO, latest updates in SEO. So every Tuesday, Julian hosts this SEO update. Kind of we run through some information. So just a heads up, yeah, today we're talking a lot about SEO, but also how AI ties into it. Or specifically right now, Julian, right, we're talking about Google's new lab search, AI mode that they're introducing. But another thing to add here is it's definitely the time of AI SEO. And I think one of the topics later on that we can touch on, Julian, is how AI can help you with SEO, through whether that is blog writing or outreach, etc. But those are definitely topics that we can touch base on a little bit later.
Yeah, 100%. We can definitely get into that in a sec. The other thing I was going to say here is there's been a bunch of news, but yeah, if you're interested in AI, whether you have a website or not, this is going to impact you. Like this impacts everyone, every single person who's using Google, which is probably every single person watching this, and ChatGPT as well. You can see that they're both sort of competing right now for the search market. And the good thing about this is what's quite interesting here is that actually, if we have a look at this update, this was generated with GenSpark, by the way. If you're watching this and you want to create presentations without doing any work, automated with GenSpark. But essentially, you can see here that Google is actually experiencing an uptick in search activity overall. So there's a 9.3% increase in search year on year. Now, I know a lot of people a year ago, a couple of years ago, as soon as ChatGPT came out, we were all saying Google is dead. There's a lot of threats to Google, etc. This was like the common theory. But actually, if you look, like Google are absolutely smashing it. They're getting bigger year on year. They're getting more searches year on year, and it's because they're using AI to their advantage, not as a threat, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's have a look here. So the other thing I was going to say is like if you look at the pre-click-through rate before, so pre versus post AI mode. Previously, the click-through rate in around April or before the AI updates was about 32%. Now it's at like 16%. So the click-through rate has dropped significantly. But again, if you're in that top 3, that top 5, if you're building backlinks, creating content, going after the right keywords, I don't think you honestly have anything to worry about. Another thing as well to think about here is like you're going to get more traffic from ChatGPT. So even if Google drops in traffic, as long as you're optimizing the right way, you're going to get more traffic from ChatGPT. Do you get a lot of clients asking you like how to optimize inside AI?
Absolutely, Julian. And this is one of the ways that we also kind of explain it with clients directly as well, is the way you need to think about this is you now have more ways to attract people with SEO outside of just hoping that you're going to rank on that first page or in those top 3 positions. So what we mean by this is people are now searching a lot more in AI. So let's make sure that your content is so optimized that you're showing both in Google and within these AI, places that people go to search certain things, like you just did, for example, with the birds search, right? So definitely a lot of questions around it, and super, super important to keep in mind how even more prevalent SEO is becoming with the lack of attention span of people and just everyone quickly wanting to get to the result.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, I mean, if you were like, okay, what does this mean for me? What's the actionable stuff here? Well, number one, you want to be optimizing for video as well as your website. Number two is focusing on like keyword queries or research queries that people are going to type into AI. Number three is like make sure you diversify in your traffic, right? I've always said from day one, like use
Yep.
social, use email, use direct. You know, Vic, we talk about it every single day. We're using pretty much every single platform we can to get traffic because you've got to diversify. You can't just rely on one platform. And then create content that goes beyond what AI overviews can summarize. So, for example, if you're just using ChatGPT to write content without adding any extra value, then chances are that Search Labs or ChatGPT or Perplexity, they can actually just write a better result than you, so they're never going to send traffic to you. They're like, well, we can write something better. If you're not adding value beyond what AI can do, why would we send traffic to your website? And also, this is an interesting one to start tracking now. It's like if you've got Google Search Console, let me pull up an example right here. So we'll pull up an example website. This is from auto blogging. It was an auto blogging case study a while back, right? And you see their traffic's just absolutely popping off. Shout out to auto blogging AI. So when we pull up this example right here, you want to be looking at like impression to click through ratio, right? What's the average CTR that you're getting for your website? Now, if you look at this website, the CTR has pretty much stayed the same, or it's slightly declined since AI overviews has come out. But because they've created so much content, they've counterbalanced it. And what I mean by this is like you can 10x the amount of content that you create, and if your CTR drops by like 2 or 3%, it's not a big deal, is it? And that's the beautiful thing about AI. It's like you can create more content now than you ever could before, far more than you could 3 or 5 years ago, and that counterbalances the problems here. So if you look, for example, since AI overviews came out for motorcaravanning.com, the traffic has dropped significantly. The traffic has dropped down to the CTR has dropped down to like 2%, but no big deal because they've doubled their traffic. How have they managed to do that? Through backlinks and also through creating more content. And that's the beautiful thing here. It's like if you're watching this channel, you can really learn how to do that stuff.
Yep.
So no reason to panic there, peeps. All right. The other thing that Google were talking about was targeting fake EAT content. So a lot of people here, they use something called deceptive page purpose and deceptive MC design, right? Basically trying to create fake elements that signal EAT on their website. So for example, that could be like a fake AI generated persona or a fake LinkedIn profile for an AI persona. It could also be like, and this is a big one that we always tell clients not to do, is like fake brick and mortar locations. So for example, if you are creating a Google Maps listing and you are not, you don't actually don't own that location, it's not real.
Yep.
Like that's a big problem. Google's going to take you down eventually.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And on the other side, right? So for example, when you create content on YouTube, like we were talking about, when you're creating content on social media, the good thing about that is it's a genuine EAT signal. Like you can't fake that. For example, if you go onto, I don't know, the AI SEO Success Lab, right? And this is a free community for anyone to join who's watching. Inside here, we have 5,400 members who are all active. We have tons of content being posted in here daily. The same for our Facebook group, the same for YouTube, Twitter, etc. It's like those are the real EAT signals that you want to create. And I wouldn't bother faking this stuff. It's much easier just to create actual content.
Absolutely. We actually had a client conversation yesterday specifically around this topic because we were pushing them to create author pages for their blog efforts, so that this is actually a huge part of the EAT. It provides so many positive signals to Google, right? And they were just asking, can I make up an author page? And we were trying to explain exactly what you just kind of went over, Julian, that would cause more harm than good. And it takes the same amount of time to create a real author page, aka the person themselves or whoever their copywriter is, and link them to their socials, because this is just going to signal Google, okay, this is a real person. They're providing, the expertise within the field. They obviously have the experience as per, whatever their socials say. So trustworthiness is increased, authority is increased. Absolutely super easy to do, and definitely a lot more worth it than trying to fake it.
Yeah, that's it. By the way, if you want like the video notes from today, I'll leave a link inside the comments and description so that you can just take a look at that if you want to see it. And also inside here, I mean, shout out to Search Engine Journal. They've actually collected the data. So they they came up with this headline, etc. And this is a new section that's been created inside the quality rater guidelines. Now, if you've never seen that, basically what it says is deceptive purpose. So a web page with deliberately inaccurate information to promote products in order to make money from clicks on monetized links. That's what you want to avoid, right? So, for example, like a fake product recommendation page, falsely impersonating like celebrity blogs, product recommendations that are fake. That sounds terrible. Like, that's borderline illegal. But you'd be surprised how many e-commerce people are doing that. Like, I've met plenty of people who are doing dodgy stuff like that, and independent testing when no testing was done. So the interesting thing here is, like, Google's quality raters, they'll probably be like manually looking for that sort of stuff when a website gets enough traffic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They probably have some algorithms in there to be able to instantly detect whether it's a real person or not, depending on where it leads you to. But manual checks are probably in there, like you were saying, for bigger websites, for sure.
Yeah, that's it. The next SEO update, and I think this still links to AI, right? Because I'm seeing Reddit ranking inside, we did that Perplexity search before, and you can see Reddit ranking right there. If you go inside here, let's type in the same thing. So let's have a look inside AI search mode. Yeah, so you can see like a lot of social media platforms ranking inside here as well. It's interesting how YouTube just ranks so well every time. And also Reddit here too, right? So Reddit is ranking really well inside search engines, and you can create content on Reddit that actually ranks. So for example, if we type in reddit.com and then me, we publish posts pretty much daily on Reddit. So for example, you can see all this content that we're creating on Reddit that we post. We use AI to help us do that, and then that can rank directly inside Perplexity or inside, for example, AI mode of Google as well. Now, if we look year on year for Reddit, basically they're getting more traffic than ever. So like 61% up revenue growth. Daily active users 108 million. And the thing that you want to be really thinking about here is, like, if Reddit is ranking so well, getting so much traffic and consistently growing, then shouldn't you be creating content on there and trying to rank it too?
Absolutely. Julian, if you remember, we actually did a similar test, but with LinkedIn. When we released the AI Profit Boardroom, I wrote a couple of posts regarding the AI Profit Boardroom, right? And what we saw is, as soon as we did a Google search regarding the AI Profit Boardroom, my LinkedIn post would come in as one of the top three, examples there. So posting on different social media, and Reddit specifically with its growth, super valuable. Reddit, YouTube, LinkedIn, you have to be looking at those platforms if you want to be growing with organic traffic.
Yeah, 100%. So for example, if we go on Google here and we type in the AI Profit Boardroom, it's like the school group, the website. We actually generated this with GenSpark as well, which is an awesome AI super agent. I've got tons of videos on YouTube about that stuff. And then also you can see Vic's post here. So Vic is the client service director at Goldie Agency, an absolute legend. And you can see here that his post is ranking top 3, right? So, you don't even have to create content on your website to rank and have a shot at ranking on Google. Like, you can create content on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Reddit, and diversify. And it's so easy to create that content with AI.
Yep.
So if you come on to the next point here, this is an interesting one. What do you typically use for creating content?
Oh, you're going to love this one, but I absolutely do use Claude on a daily basis for almost all of my content. I do have a custom GPT that I've trained up to kind of understand and how to format it a little bit better for me specifically. So once I write it in Claude, I kind of sometimes take it to ChatGPT, but by far my most used one is Claude.
Yeah, I think Claude is a GOAT, honestly, for creating content and that sort of thing. By the way, if you have any comments or questions as we go along, feel free to ask. We've got some questions here actually so far. So, for example, says, why does Julian use his AI avatar in usual YouTube video? I don't use it that much. I might use it like once a week maximum. For me, it's like, what do people prefer? So, for example, first time I posted a YouTube video about AI avatars, people said they actually prefer my avatar to me. And then I think recently, like, people just crave authenticity again, so we actually stopped using it over the last couple of weeks. So it says, what software is that? Where Julian uses AI after. So if you want the software for that and, you know, the full SOP and everything else, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. That's where we post all this stuff. Vic is running the community, and he does weekly Q&As in there as well. And then inside the classroom here, if you go to the AI agents and workflow section, as well as the social media and video automation stuff here, you'll see all the video tutorials and the SOPs on exactly how we do the avatar stuff. So feel free to check it out. And then Tech with Danver says, are there extensions Google recommends to use so that Google can understand the products on the e-commerce way better? I don't really know about extensions, to be honest. Like, I've not seen any good ones that really stick with me. But I think the best thing you could do is just optimize your website, and then also, you know, build backlinks, create content, target low competition keywords for e-commerce sites. Like, you can absolutely crush it with this, right? This brings me on to a case study. Back Muscle Solutions, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, one of our longest clients here, Back Muscle Solutions, he's in the e-commerce niche, the owner of this website. You can see his traffic over time. And again, this is one of our clients, and we've been building backlinks with him for years now. But you can see here that as he's built more backlinks, his traffic has gone up to the point now where, you know, like June 2023, he was getting 12,000 traffic. Now he's getting 91,000 organic traffic, right? So if you want to get traffic, if you want to get sales to your e-commerce store and get backlinks, like, there's no secrets here. Keywords, content, backlinks. Now, if you want a free SEO strategy session about that, feel free to book it in. Link in the comments and description. You can speak to our team, our SEO growth managers, and help you. And they'll just build out like a custom game plan. Doesn't matter whether you're going to become a client or not. Like, you know, they really, what they're there to do is just help you. To be honest, most of the people who jump on that call actually become a client. But, you know, if you want to get results like this for your e-commerce store, you can, using this process. And there's no secrets here. It's a fundamentals done well, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So that was it. And then, yeah, if we're coming back onto this topic here about Claude. So Claude 3.7 Sonnet has become like the GOAT for SEO. Everyone's using it. And Vic, you mentioned you use Claude on a daily basis. Do you have any prompts that you recommend or anything like that?
I'm going to be honest, Julian, I actually use all of the prompts that we've written down, both in the AI Profit Boardroom and the SEO Elite Circle. Like, our prompts really work well. I always try to make sure that I explain my logic behind what I wanted to do or what kind of a post I want it to be. So whether I would prefer more passive tone, whether I would prefer more, shorter paragraphs or actually super long paragraphs, it kind of depends. But all of the best prompts are actually within our school programs for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Like, here's an example of a prompt that's inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to use it. And basically, if we go over to Claude now, we plug this in, we can say, like, create an SEO optimized article for this. We can use, for example, that example of Suno 4.5 AI update. And then I'm going to say research it using the web feature. We'll delete the content outline because I don't have one ready to go. And then we're just going to include some information about us. So the main thing here is, like, you keep all the content unique to you, who you are, etc. And that's what I try and do here as well. And it also just demonstrates EAT if you have some source context there, and makes your content unique and contextually relevant to you and your brand and your website, right? So, for example, if we hit enter on this, using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, like you can see, normally I don't enable thinking mode. I don't feel the need. You can if you want, but I just don't think for writing it's relevant. Do you use it, Vic?
Never for writing, to be honest. I also find that it takes a little bit too long, and I don't see the point of it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. And the cool thing is as well, especially if you're on the max plan now, you can use you can use Claude to actually search the web, like you see right here. And it wouldn't surprise me if Claude actually becomes like a really popular search engine in the future, right? I think it's still in the early stages, but this will get rolled out to everyone. And then you can see here, it's front loaded the keyword throughout the content. You know, it's super easy to generate that content. Obviously, you're going to proofread it and quality control it before you publish it. But you see how easy it is to create like interesting content that actually makes sense and doesn't feel like generic AI fluff. So, for example, if we look at even the first sentence, like the Suno AI update has revolutionized the AI music generation with game-changing features that push creative boundaries further than ever before. As someone who's built and scaled businesses using cutting-edge tech, I've tested countless AI tools, and this new Suno update genuinely impresses me with its leap forward in quality and capabilities, right? It's like, it might need a little bit of editing as you go through the content, but the content is 80% of the way there, right? And that's a good thing about Claude. I've found it's far better than ChatGPT or anything else for creating content.
Yeah, I want to add actually a little caveat here, Julian. Just think of it this way. If you were not going to post any content versus you're going to post content that needs a little bit of editing that is pre-done for you, definitely do the second, do the latter. Because if you want to be ranking, if you want to grow, on the search engines, if you want to make sure that you're optimizing, you have to do content. Like it's a must. There's no questions about it. Otherwise, no keywords, and also no point in really doing anything to help you grow. So definitely, Julian, agree with you. Content is pretty good, and Claude is the best when it comes to content, at least from my experience as well.
100%. Bear says, hey Julian Goldie, you're the best. Greetings from Algeria. Shout out to you. Thanks for watching, mate. And if we keep going through now, so I mean, this SEO thing as well, so you can see here it says in the evaluation, Claude 3.7 achieved an accuracy score of 83%, outperforming competitors such as Perplexity, Gemini, and ChatGPT. So even for like creating content, it tends to be more accurate. And also it's just like, it feels more human to me. It feels way more human than anything else. The other thing here as well, this is super interesting. So YouTube is actually testing AI overviews in search results as well.
I think YouTube has always done a little bit of like AI tinkering here and there. I'm interested to see, how that develops and what it means. I think that optimizing video titles and putting a little bit more effort into your tags, something that people used to say, oh, you don't need to worry about it all, I think is going to become a little bit more prevalent now.
Yeah, it's going to get very interesting. So basically what they're saying here is like, we're experimenting with new video results that are like carousels. And basically this just highlights clips. So it's kind of like using AI to create shorts from the existing videos of what you want to create. So instead of people like clicking over to that video, it's like, boom, here's the exact thing you were looking for.
Yeah.
So for example, it says here, actually, this is most likely to show when you search for information about products you're shopping for. So, for example, like best noise cancelling headphones, or more information about locations or things to do. And this is rolling out for a small number of YouTube Premium members. But bear in mind, like all these tests, usually they just roll out full scale within a few months. So if you see something like this, it's probably coming to everyone on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. And I think that's pretty much it for the headlines. Let me just make sure we've not missed anything else out here. Just to recap, so 15.4% drop in CTRs from Google, 83% accuracy score from Claude in SEO tasks. Interestingly, 36% of people are now searching on Pinterest, not Google. But we've talked about this before in the last one. It's like, you gotta optimize for everywhere, not just for Google anymore. Like optimize for everything. And then also you can see here, Reddit has absolutely smashed it in terms of revenue. It's getting more SEO traffic than ever before. Like if you're not creating content, I'm ranking on there. Like check it out. It's easy and it's so scalable with AI.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome, man. So just to recap, we've covered the AI overviews update, what it means for Google, etc., stuff like that. Vic, you had a couple of things you wanted to show as well that I think would help people massively, right?
So I think it was not that much show, but more so about talk a little bit about SEO, because I think there are prevalent and important topics within the SEO world right now. So I actually wanted to kind of pick your brain as well in a sense. But we covered one of the topics that I kind of wanted to talk about was the dance between Google, and AI. And I think we've kind of come to a point where we can make conclusions based on data as well as research. But Julian, how are we feeling about using AI in a day-to-day to produce blogs? Like, what are you feeling like?
I feel like it writes better content than I could. At this point, it's just like it's overtaken my skills as a writer, and I've been writing for years. Yeah. I honestly, like, for me, what I love about it particularly is just rephrasing things, right? I think there's always a smarter way. I always ask myself, like, is there a smarter way to say this? And there always is.
Yep.
And so, like, how do I do that in the most efficient way possible? I always find like ChatGPT is the best way to do that, or Claude or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I 100% agree with you. I think it's a lot more about understanding what gets penalized, and we kind of cover that with the fake EAT, right? And of course, putting zero effort into the content that gets pumped out by ChatGPT a lot, or Claude, or whatever AI tool you're using. A lot of people think, hey, I'm just going to ask it to write a text on this and just slap it on the page, but that doesn't work, right? You need a really good prompt. You need to make sure that you proofread it, and you need to make sure that you edit it nicely. You're going to need some manual work in there. You're going to need to put some internal links, external links, some images, but definitely AI content no longer, that taboo topic. Absolutely use it, right, Julian?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't, I think if you're considering, here's the thing, it's like it doesn't matter how you create the content. What matters is the quality of the content. It's the same for the AI avatar stuff, right? It's on YouTube. Some of my videos with AI avatars are doing better than me creating the content
Yeah.
myself. It's more articulate than me. It doesn't mess up. It records the script perfectly first time round. It's got an interesting tonality, and it doesn't get tired or lack energy. It can create
Yeah.
content 24/7. Same with AI for writing content as it is for creating videos. And so the way that I see it is like, if you learn how to use it properly, it's a superpower. The other thing I would say is touching on what you mentioned, Vic, was if you want to really create the best content you can, use something like this SEO checklist. It's inside our free course. It's inside the AI Profit Boardroom as well, and that will just help you step by step chisel that
Yep.
content down. So you're taking that big block of stone, aka the piece of AI content, and chiseling it down into a masterpiece, aka your edited content that actually reads really well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And one of the other things that we kind of actually had as a question, Julian, off of the back of our last SEO stream was, how would you go about if you had to build a link strategy for a brand new website for yourself? We can just give a really simple take on this. For me personally, I'll go first really quick, Julian. For me personally, what I would do is I would actually first start with ensuring that my page is completely done and optimized. So I would make sure that I have good enough CTAs everywhere, that I have good enough content, and that I have good enough internal linking so that the page itself can spread link juice wherever it goes. And regarding link strategy or link building strategy, what I would do is, if I'm just doing it on my own, it's going to be very time consuming. I know, because we're in the industry. I would probably try to see, hey, whether I can find blogs that are talking about the same thing that I'm talking about. Can I get in touch with them? Keep in mind, this costs money. This is costs time. So for me personally, without being too self-promotional, I would probably reach out for a free strategy session. That would inform you a lot. That would give you so much input, and it would take you to places where you need to be to understand how you can do link building and how we can help. But do you have any other take, Julian? Do you have any other maybe tips here?
Yeah, so typically what we do is like, and this is the way that we do it on the free SEO strategy session. Link in the comments description if you want to get that. But essentially, you're gonna do the research first, right? So that's stage number one. And basically, right here, you want to find, okay, what are the most relevant topics that I can create content about or re-optimize my website to attract backlinks, right? It's like a link magnet. Then from here, what you're going to do is you are going to prospect. So you're actually going to figure out, okay, who's got my links? Who can I reach out to that would realistically rank for me? Now, the best way to do that is to look at who's linked to your competitors and then reach out to them and say, hey, would you link to me too? So just to recap, stage one is the research, aka find relevant topics you can write content about to attract backlinks. Step number two, find a list of people who can link to you. Step number three is actually re-optimizing the content, right? So like you were saying, Vic, so for example, you want to be editing the content, you want to be optimizing it, you want to make sure it's the best it can possibly be before you reach out to other websites and ask for a backlink. And then the final step here is just the outreach. And this is hard work, my friends. This is why so many clients hire us for link building, because it's you're reaching out to thousands of websites. Usually, you are asking them for a backlink, you're chasing them up, you're following up, you're negotiating. Humans are humans. It can be quite difficult to negotiate and go back and forth with them. They say they've added your link and you can't find it, or you you get a link added and then all of a sudden it's gone the next week, right? And so this is a whole process, it's a whole journey. But that's basically how you do it. So research, prospect, content, outreach. So that's essentially what I'd recommend. Works over and over again.
One little tip here I would add, I know Julian loves his free tips as well, so I'm going to slap you with this one. If you're a brand new page, brand new website, you can get some free links for yourself by simply posting articles on different social media and backlinking towards your page. What I mean by this is go on LinkedIn, write out an article and backlink to yourself. You're just going to get one backlink. Keep in mind, you should only do this once because only one of them is going to be a referring domain, but absolutely some free information for you guys out there.
Yeah, it's an easy way to get traffic as well. So, for example, you publish a video, you publish a LinkedIn article. We use LinkedIn newsletters. Like that gets us really good results, and it's free to set up. And then, from there, you can drive traffic directly from the link as well if it's coming from social media.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely, Julian. I think that pretty much rounds it out from my side as well about some of the things that I wanted to mention alongside, the update that you did. It was a great informative page. I think everyone that's going to watch the video and click on that one is going to love it because super information heavy.
Awesome. Cheers. Well, basically, if you're watching this, you want to grow your website, you want to get more traffic, you want to get more free leads, customers, and sales directly from Google, make the most of these AI updates. Because I wouldn't see it as a threat. I would see it as an opportunity. As I've shown you already today, one of our clients is absolutely killing it. We've got dozens of those case studies. I mean, I was actually joking with some interview candidates yesterday. I was interviewing some sellers yesterday, Vic.
Yeah.
And they said they were on the website and it was like an infinite scroll on the testimonials. They couldn't get to the bottom of the page. It was just too many of them. And so, if you want to be like our clients and get good results, then feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session. Link in the comments description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. And on this free link building acceleration session, you're going to get, number one, a free SEO domination plan, discover the secrets of SEO link building, and you'll get all of your questions answered directly on the call. And this is free. It's free to book in. Link in the comments description.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it. Anything else, Vic?
Nope. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the questions. Awesome stuff. And look forward to next Tuesday, Julian, for our next SEO update.
That's it. Same time every week. We'll catch you there.